Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Dr. Glen T. Martin. I am president of the World Constitution and Parliament Association, a worldwide organization that is responsible for the writing and the distribution and the translation and the ratification of the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. This is the cover of one edition of the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. It's a document of only about 30 pages. It's a wonderful blueprint for the way that we on this planet can work together to solve our most fundamental problems. It is designed to end war, to eliminate all weapons of mass destruction, to protect universal human rights, to diminish global poverty and economic inequality. And finally, it's a green constitution. It is designed to protect the planetary environment for ourselves and for future generations. It is a beautiful document. I recommend that you get a hold of it, download it, study it. You can find it at www.earth-constitution.org. www.earth-constitution.org. I want to talk with you a little bit today about Article 19, the last article in the Constitution, because Article 19 gives the people of Earth, that is you and I, the special authority to start the democratic world order now. We don't have to wait until some laborious process of ratification has taken place that may take years or decades or whatever. We can start it now, and we can begin building its prestige, its authority, its effectiveness through actually creating the institutions that are called for by the Earth Constitution, creating them in the here and now, and building them as provisional world government. And provisional world government becomes more and more authoritative, more and more known by the people of Earth, turned to in cases of disputes and so on because of its authority. And before we know it, the Constitution itself will be ratified, and our planet will be, for the first time, a place of peace and justice and environmental sustainability. So Article 19 is called Provisional World Government, right? It gives us that authority, that power to start it, and it gives certain guidelines by which we can, the first things that we should be doing, and so on. One of the things that WCPA, the World Constitution and Parliament Association, has done under the authority of the Constitution is create something called the Collegium of World Judges. This is called for in the Constitution because there's going to be a world judiciary, right? A world Supreme Court system. And this world Supreme Court system is staffed by a collegium of highly qualified, impartial world judges. And we can start this now, and we have started it now. You can go on our website, the website for the Collegium of World Judges, and look at it there. Mostly retired judges, because sitting judges are often restricted in their ability to take any kind of stand, even this kind of a stand. But retired judges, highly qualified people, have already participated and are participating in this Collegium of World Judges. It is a pool of highly qualified people who as it grows, will be gaining prestige and will be offering their expertise to sit on first provisional world courts as we develop our authority and our prestige of people who want to govern the earth democratically and end war and protect human rights. They'll be sitting on provisional world courts, but eventually we'll start the actual world court system under the Constitution, and they will be the pioneers helping make this happen. The second main thing that we have done under the authority of Article 19 is create sessions of the Provisional World Parliament. The Constitution is a parliamentary system. It's not, doesn't have a president, doesn't have an authoritative executive that can wreak so much havoc as we know from today's dictatorial leaders like Donald Trump or Duterte in the Philippines and so on. It does not have a leader like that. It's a parliamentary system, and the presidential, the executive branch of under the Earth Constitution is subordinate to the Parliament itself, and it has no military capacity, no authority to suspend the Constitution, no authority not to implement the budget given to it by the Parliament, and so on. So we have a parliamentary system, and that means that representatives from all over the world come together and under the guidelines of the Constitution on ending war and protecting human rights and creating social justice and protecting the environment, under those guidelines, they legislate world laws, which will be eventually enforceable by the civilian world police force. So this is Article 19. And that's the main thing that we have done in this movement. We've created sessions of the Provisional World Parliament. The first session was in 1981 in Brighton, the famous pavilion in Brighton, England. And it had representatives from all over the world, very prominent people, supporting the development of democratic world law. The second session was in 1985 in New Delhi, India. It was opened at the famous Constitution Club of India. That club is the place where the Constitution of India itself was signed after the Second World War. The Parliament then was opened by the then President of India. His name was Zail Singh, and it was presided over, the entire session of Parliament was presided over by the Speaker of the then Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament. So we had great support from the Indian government as to what we were doing. We're envisioning a world where there's no more war, where people are working together to solve our global problems, and so on. Since that time, we've held many other sessions. We've held 14 sessions of the Provisional World Parliament, several of them in India, and in other countries around the world. The third session was at the fabulous Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, Florida. And the fourth session was in Barcelona, Spain, and so on. So now we are looking for a proper venue to hold the 15th session of the Provisional World Parliament. And we invite you, if you're interested, to be in contact with us, join WCPA, and perhaps once we have a venue for the Parliament, you could be a delegate representing the people in your region or your group or your local local community in some way, and coming to the Parliament and building for the people of Earth a democratic, lawful world beyond war, beyond environmental destruction, one that's concerned with justice for everybody. So, if you, as a matter of fact, what we do in the sessions of the Provisional World Parliament is not give papers. It's not a conference where we endlessly talk with one another, expressing our ideas and so on. It is an actual legislative session, which means that there are proposed world laws that we examine ahead of time before we come to the Parliament. And during the Parliament, we discuss those laws, discuss proper modifications to them if it's necessary, and vote on those laws. If the vote passes, they become provisional world laws, world legislative acts. And as a matter of fact, the 14 sessions of Parliament so far have passed some 67 provisional world legislative acts. They make a beautiful and a compelling testimony to the kind of world we could be living in if we decided as a community on this planet, if we decided to leave the war system, right? The war system, the subversion system, the national competition system, the global system of economic exploitation. The weak are exploited by the stronger, and so on. If we decide to leave that and to create a decent world order that works for everybody, then this set of laws, 67 laws, will give us a beautiful blueprint, a beautiful head start on what the real world parliament, or the final world parliament, once the Constitution is ratified, could be passing. And it could, if it wanted to, pass them all, or pass selected ones from what we've already done in the Provisional World Parliament. So I think you can see the tremendous significance of that. I recommend that you go online. They're posted at several websites, including www.earth-constitution.org, this website that is one of our main ones for WCPA, and look at them. Look at the kind of transformed world that these world legislative acts suggest, what the kind of transformed world that they envision. And you'll see the significance of what we're doing in attempting to ratify the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. So that's what I wanted to speak with you today about. It's Article 19. Article 19 means we can start it now. We can look at the provisions within this document and start any of them now. The World Environmental Ministry, we can start now. The World Judiciary, as I said before, we can start now. And let's do it. Let's be activists. Let's take an interest in transforming our world so that it becomes a world that transcends these terrible suicidal problems that we now have and becomes a place of peace and justice and environmental protection for ourselves and all future generations. Thank you very much. We can talk more about the Earth Constitution in future videos. I appreciate your attention.